Première journée du camp.
Écoute, ça reste que c'est une journée. Ça a bien été en général. C'est sûr qu'on a un noyau qui est en place depuis quelques années, alors beaucoup de vétérans. Alors j'étais curieux de les voir performer la première journée. Mais j'ai passé la majorité de ma journée avec les recrues puis les choix de repêchage parce que on parle souvent de profondeur, puis cette profondeur va être primordiale pour nous en 2025. Alors, je dirais qu'on était satisfait avec la première journée. Alors, on va voir qu'est-ce que les prochaines journées vont nous amener.
Tu vois, tu as Tiger Shanks qui disait qu'il y a eu un bon vibe avec les vétérans l'entourent bien, tout ça un petit peu. Tu vois beaucoup ici dans ton équipe, là.
Oui, le vibe, ça parle de notre culture qu'on a en place depuis quelques années. Puis ça commence en haut jusqu'à les gens qui sont dans le vestiaire, le soutien de personnel. Alors, je dirais que ça va bien, que ce soit l'unité de la ligne à l'attaque ou quelle autre unité. Il y a une belle culture, il y a une belle atmosphère, tout le monde s'entend bien ensemble. Puis ça va être très important si on veut aller chercher du succès cette année.
D'ailleurs, l'objectif, là, le mot mix, c'était très populaire à Montréal à l'automne. Vous autres, vous pensez plus loin que ça. C'est quoi l'objectif? Puis un peu pour toute l'équipe, qu'est-ce que les gens parlent alentour de l'équipe?
Écoute, nous, on vise toujours les grands honneurs. Ça veut dire que c'est sûr qu'on vise la Coupe Grey. C'est l'objectif numéro 1 qu'on a. Mais je dirais qu'on a d'autres objectifs aussi. On veut bien jouer dans la deuxième moitié de la saison. On veut terminer en premier dans notre division. On veut jouer un match de séries éliminatoires devant probablement, dans mon opinion, les meilleurs partisans dans la Ligue canadienne au Canada. Puis on souhaite d'être à Winnipeg. Alors, c'est des buts qu'on a, mais ça commence avec un bon camp d'entraînement, puis de bien choisir les joueurs qui vont faire partie de cette édition 2025. Puis d'avoir assez de profondeur parce on est conscient qu'on va en avoir besoin de tous ces joueurs qui vont contribuer à ce grand succès.
À la position de corps arrière, vous en gardez combien dans votre formation?
Idéalement. Il faut en habiller 3. Idéalement, on aimerait avoir un sur le practice roster, l'équipe de réserve.
Mathématiquement, il y a un gars qui va perdre sa job.
S'il y en a 5, puis on en garde 4, c'est pas compliqué.
On peut rien cacher.
Je suis fort,
oui.
Où tu vois les principales luttes, Danny, pendant ce camp-là?
Je dirais sur la ligne à l'attaque, parce qu'il y a une décision à prendre si on va jouer avec 3 Canadiens ou on change le ratio avec 3 Américains. Alors ça va être très important. L'autre compétition, probablement dans le demi-défensif. On a des excellents joueurs qu'on était capable d'identifier, qu'on a mis sur contrat. Alors, on verra jusqu'à quel point ils sont capables de pousser certains de nos vétérans. La ligne défensive aussi. Probablement, il va y avoir un changement de ratio sur la ligne défensive. Jusqu'à quel point qui va être dans la rotation, on verra. Puis, écoute, on a une équipe de beaucoup de vétérans qui sont de retour. Alors, il n'y a pas beaucoup de postes qui sont, je devrais dire, ouverts, mais c'est là où la profondeur va être très importante pour nous parce qu'on sait qu'on va être obligé de jouer avec plus que 45 joueurs cette année.
Et si vous vous retrouvez avec 3 Américains sur la ligne à l'attaque, ça veut dire qu'il faut vous canadianiser une autre position. À quel endroit vous avez le plus de réserve pour ajouter des Canadiens?
La ligne défensive. La ligne défensive, c'est sur la raison qu'on était actif avec ce qu'on a fait dans la saison morte. On a 4 Canadiens, si je ne me trompe pas, puis 4 Canadiens performants. Puis si jamais on décide de jouer avec 2, mais on peut se le permettre. Si on décide de jouer avec 3, on peut se le permettre. Alors, il y a beaucoup de flexibilité à ce poste-là. On a Tiger Shanks on pense qu'il peut jouer sur la ligne à l'attaque, puis il peut changer le ratio. On est confortable d'ajouter un deuxième Canadien dans la brigade de receveurs. On a de la flexibilité partout, je pense, sur cette équipe.
Hey Jason, I know that there was a speech yesterday for the guys, and talk about the Great Nine again. How is it important for you to talk about the goal?
Yeah, we always state what our goal is at the beginning of the year, and it's grind for 9. Like that's never going to change. You know, obviously it was our same goal last year. You know, we didn't quite reach the goal, so you know it's still the same. You know, we're going to grind like hell to get there, and but there's a pathway to that, and that's every day. You know, having to grind out here together and connect, and everybody getting better every day. And today, like an example, it wasn't a perfect practice, but the effort was there, and you expect everything to get better from here on out. And you know, that's why we say it's a grind, because it is, and it's a full season of it, but it's day to day to day, and you got to try to get better as a team doing that.
What do you want to see from your new rookie, you know, like that comes in, like Tiger Shanks? And
yeah, I mean, growth, you know, consistency. You know, you want to see them every single day absorb the information given, because it's all new to them. The league is new to them. The pace of play is different. You know, for a lot of these guys, it's 12-man football, other than our draft picks who have played youth sports. You know, everything's different for them. So you just want to see them incrementally get better every day and compete. And that's the bottom line. So if we could see that out of them, we can make the best decision for the Alouettes. The best 45 are going to play our first game of the season. But, you know, for them, that's what I want to see. Every day, just a little bit of growth. But the compete has to be there, and the willingness to learn has to be there. And so far, so good.
Davis Alexander, what do you expect from him?
What we've seen every single day, I've always said about Davis, he's as highly competitive as anybody I've ever been around. He's extremely motivated. You can see by the way he looks right now. He looks a little different than he did last year. He's put a lot of work into it since he's been named the starter of our football team. But I want him to lead. And, you know, everybody leads a little bit differently, but him doing all the little things that we ask of our quarterback, leading the offense and being that, and being consistent every single day. You know, that's the bottom line for a leader, and that's the bottom line for a quarterback in our system, is you got to be consistent every single day.
Did you give him any advice now that he's starting his first training camp as a starting quarterback going into the season? I know you talked about throughout the offseason.
Yeah, I don't know that there's advice given. It's just, you know, you're talking to him throughout the offseason and what the expectation. He knows what our expectation is. You know, it's not someone new coming into our building where you have to describe what we're looking for. He knows what we're looking for. I mean, and he's been that for us. You know, for a stretch of games last year, he was our starter. And we like to think that all of our backups prepare like the starter, and what we've seen from Caleb, what we've seen from Davis is they do, because when they're given the opportunity to be in our room, to run our practices, to do our reads, to go out and perform, they perform like the starter. So, you know, it's nothing more than that, but it's just consistency. Can you do it over a longer period of time than what they've been given in the past? And obviously the work has to be put in the offseason to do that. I know he's done that. I've seen the body of work. You know, when he comes in here with the knowledge base that he has, and see him the first day, how he's directing the offense, you know he's locked in and ready to go. It's just a matter of going out there and performing now, in which we're highly confident he'll be able to do that.
When you already became a starting quarterback, how did you lead differently? Like, do you lead differently than when you become the guy?
No, I mean, I think everybody has a different voice when they're in there. I mean, every quarterback, when you're in the huddle, you're a leader of that huddle. I think everybody's voice is a little bit different on their team, depending if you're the starter, the backup, or third string guy. And you don't just usually walk into a professional organization and become the starter. So there's a learning curve to that. But you're looked at always as a quarterback position, a guy that can be vocal, a guy that can say what he needs to say when he needs to say it. It doesn't always have to be a rah-rah guy. It can be a guy that leads by example. But the moment you're in that huddle, you're leading it. And you know, I was able to do that. Our quarterbacks are able to do that. They're all a little bit different, which I like. So, you know, everybody's just want to be themselves. They don't have to be any more than that. But work ethic and compete level, that is what they need to be more than anything.
Behind him, is the depth chart established already, or there's a race for number 2, number 3?
Well, I think Bethel, you know, coming in with the pedigree that Bethel has had, you know, obviously I think he's got, you know, our backup part at the beginning, but Caleb is right there. I mean, I love Caleb. I love his game. I love how he plays and performs. You know, and James and Senecal, they're all going to get even reps. So as we go through camp, someone's going to separate themselves, you know, but, you know, Bethel's been there and done that. He's won a Grey Cup as a starter. You know, he's performed at an extremely high level. You know, Davis is our anointed starter, and he's going to be that. But the guys behind him are all competing, and everything is there to be had. But the expectation is they all do their job when called upon, and then we'll let the plays and the reps sort itself out through all camp. We'll evaluate everything, and then we'll make our best 3 for the roster, and hopefully be able to keep other guys around.
Danny, just talk about some of the battles going on at camp, maybe offensive line, defensive line. How do you see the battles?
There's battles everywhere. I mean, there is nothing secured, on our football team. That's the way I like to look at it. I think everybody understands that, that's what I love about our team. It's the compete level of our team. So the veterans all know that. They don't come in here just satisfied with where they are. They know they've got to be pushed, and there's inevitabilities in pro sports. If you're not good enough and somebody else is and can prove it in a short amount of time, they might get an opportunity. So, but I think there's battle everywhere in camp, and that's what I'm looking forward to over the next 20 days to see.
Is there anything different for you today, coming in knowing you're going to be QB number 1 from day 1?
Not really. I mean, sure, I guess it's a different title, but still same person, same type of leader. It was a blast to be out here with the guys. I love being here. I love being with the guys. It's just so much fun, and I can't wait for the season.
What was different in your off season? Because as an athlete, when you know that you're gonna be the guy starting day 1, it just had that extra motivation. In the weight room, in the classroom, and everything. How was it for you?
Yeah, I mean, I really do mean it when I say I try to approach it the same way. The past 3 years, I've tried to come in and, at some point you got to expect to play, and that was my hope for the past 3 years. So I had the same off season. I think it actually turned out a little bit better for me. I think I put on like 6 or 7 pounds, but it seemed to be like true muscle mass. Feeling good, and I can't wait for the season.
How do you see your relation with Bethel-Thompson? You had a relation with a veteran, Cody Fajardo, but this time that guy is behind you. How will you?
Yeah, no, McLeod since we got here on Tuesday, he's been awesome, and he's got a really strong arm. So it's also been interesting to hear his perspective on things, because I feel like our arm talent's pretty similar. So he's been asking me a lot of questions, but he's also been teaching me some of the things that he's learned, and he's been around some of the great quarterbacks. So he's been amazing, and we already have a great relationship. We're always seem to be cracking jokes, so all good there, and seems like it's going to be a great relationship.
I guess you'll figure it out as you go, Davis. But just from a leadership standpoint, I know you've always been a leader on the team, but how is it different now? How do you lead differently now that you're going to play?
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm going to try and pretty much stay as true to me as I can, just because it seemed to work, and just because you get a different type of position doesn't mean you need to have a certain type of power trip, right? That's not me. That's not who I am. But I mean, I would say, yeah, maybe some guys are looking to me first instead of fourth or ninth or whatever, and that's perfect. That's the way I want it to be. Either way, it doesn't matter to me. I'm going to be there for anyone on the team at any point. I tell all the guys, hit me if they need anything, and I truly do mean it. So, yeah, I'm going to try and stay the same no matter what. The guys know I rock with them, and again, I can't wait for the season.
Personally, what are you trying to find in this camp? Is it momentum with new players, or some new pattern in the attack?
Yeah, I would say a lot of these guys I necessarily haven't gotten a ton of reps with. AMAC, I think I've gotten, maybe 3 practice weeks of reps with. Sneed was hurt a lot last season. I think Rambo is probably the most reps I've gotten, him and Cole Speaker. Tyson obviously, but Tyson got hurt a little bit. A little bit of rhythm with those guys, but I mean, I would say we got, I'll say it, I'll die on this hill. I think we got the best receiving core in the league. I can't wait. I can't wait to get in the groove with these guys and just get things rolling.
Bonjour, comment ça va?
Très bien, merci.
Bien.
Jason just told us that behind Davis the race is up for the number 2 spot. Do you feel you got a lead on that spot?
No, it's training camp. There's no lead on anything. It's just playing football and having fun. It's a good group. We've been here for a couple of days. I've always respected Caleb's game and looking at Davis from afar, and then getting to know James and Joe and E. It's a good group, so I'm just excited to help and be here and play football. Not worried about any of that.
But you did win as a starter in this league. So what can you bring to a guy like Davis who's leading for the first time, you know, from day one? What can you bring with your experience? And
yeah, anything and everything. You know, I know I can play with as good or better than anybody in this league. So I'll bring a little bit of experience. I'll bring all the mistakes I made. I'll bring the things that I've seen, and you know, maybe he tripped me up the first time, and maybe I can just get him one step ahead, and so he doesn't make that mistake again. But also, right at this point, it's just figuring out who he is. You know, I want to know who he is as a person and how I can help him, how I can support him emotionally or on the field or off the field. It's just about, you know, building a relationship so that we can be good teammates and take this journey together.
You've been through what he's going through now. I'm just curious, like when you went from being a backup to being a starter, like did you lead any differently? Like what's the biggest change off the field for you?
I think the biggest is there's no space, right? When you're in the backup, you have space. When you're in the 2 or the 3, there's space. There's like, even at the beginning of every drill, from the micro to the macro, at the beginning of every drill, you're right into it. At the beginning of every period, you're right into it. So you don't get time for that space as much you do when you're back. So he's learning, you know, how to be the first man up every single time, and then there's a level of poise, and you got to find your own space and build your own space, and that's a metaphor as much as it is a reality, you know, in the pocket and all we do as quarterbacks. So I think he's doing a great job of it. He looks comfortable in the offense. He feels comfortable. So it's nice to, you know, having been in the offense for a while. It's always a benefit. Yeah, I'm just here to help and lend a hand where I can.
It's a lot cooler than Vegas, so I can't complain.
What do you like about, you know, the styles of feel and, you know, with this group? What are you looking when you're looking at this group right now?
I mean, really, I'm just coming in to compete. I mean, I feel like we got a really good group, pretty tight-knit group. Seems like there's a lot of returners, a lot of veteran guys that are helping me out a lot, you know, trying to teach me the playbook and just learn the new techniques and stuff and kind of embrace the new game, you know, because I've been playing a different rules. So, but it's been great. Yeah, it's been awesome to learn. Awesome to learn from the older guys.
I know it's only the first few days, but do you already see a difference between pro football and college football?
I mean, definitely on day one. I mean, we did a little bit of live one-on-ones over there. The speed's definitely different. The speed is definitely different. Definitely something you need to adjust to, but I mean, you know, it's professional football, so comes with the nature.